Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the New Jersey Titans Coaches Corner. I have with me Craig Doremus, the head coach and GM of the Titans. Craig, thanks so much for taking the time this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Tommy. I appreciate it.
Well, another weekend and another split, this time against the Northeast Generals. Saturday night, a 3-2 overtime win after a scoreless first, down 1-0 in the second. Jack Ford scored shorthanded, tying the game up at 1. Big giveaway inside the offensive zone. Basically, you are handed a chance. Don't get a lot of opportunities like that. Very important, I would assume, to finish off those kind of chances.
Yeah, I mean, opportunistic there for us, right? Obviously, get some pressure on the forecheck, generate a turnover, and Jack's had a hot hand here, hot stick for us lately, and he's able to find the back of the net. Huge goal for our hockey team, and again, for Jack and who he's been and what it's been lately for us, just a big one there, and rallies the team behind him to get us going again.
And you go down early in the third, but from there on out, there seemed to be a brand new, renewed defensive spirit as you only allow 7 shots the entire rest of the period. Is that something that was kind of talked about and felt on the bench? Like, that's enough. We're not allowing anything else.
No, I just think for us, it's been something. Bobby's done a really good job during the practice week of emphasizing the defensive zone and that part of the game. And I think our game is growing in terms that, we fared somewhat better, and not, I would say regardless of what the scoreboard says, but just in terms of defensive zone coverage and defensive zone play, I think we've grown since the early parts of the year to where we are now. And in retrospect, then obviously when you're not defending, you can be on the attack and you have the puck and you generate offensive chances at least. So it works hand in hand, part and parcel. So I'm really happy with that part of the game and happy and proud for the guys there. They focused on. We worked hard on it during the week, and to see it go over and be executed like that is great.
Now, late in the third, Zach Nazareth scores the game-tying goal. Now, he hasn't been back all that long, but, man, has he done a lot in his return, hasn't he?
Yeah, Zach has been a breath of fresh air for the team. Ever since we brought him back, he's contributed for us offensively on the ice, and I think he's brought some veteran savviness to our dressing room and to the bench, and a calming presence. It's been really cool to see Zach's maturity over the last 2+ years of how long I've known him. He went from a rookie in the North American League a couple of years ago with us, despite having some junior experience in the OJ, to see him come through now and really just he's grown. He's really grown a lot as a human being. He's so much more mature and composed, and kind of keeps the room and the bench at 72 degrees for us, which has been great to see. And I think he's had a really positive influence on the team a whole, and probably a lot of the individuals as well, just by being putting an arm around guys and talking to them about experiences and how to handle adversity. So I'm really happy and proud of Zach, and he's had a really big impact for our team here, obviously.
All right, you go into the overtime on the power play, but don't convert, but you get a second chance at the man advantage. Again, that doesn't happen that often at all. Usually the referees swallow the whistle and forget how to put their arm. Great job of taking advantage of those kind of breaks. Again, that's how you pick up wins. You get handed a break, and you have to take advantage, I would assume.
No, absolutely. And some good puck pressure there that allows us to maintain control. And Nick Seitz makes a high level pass to find Evan Werner in the middle of the ice there on a one-timer. And it was going to take that type of effort and execution to beat a goaltender like Haas that night. He was that good for those guys. So, again, those guys just leading the way offensively there for us with a great dish and a big-time shot to win the game in overtime.
Speaking of power plays, well, even if you win, doesn't matter the result, there are still teaching moments. Power play did struggle before that at 0 for 7 before that overtime winner. Was that a little bit more of a focus throughout practice this week?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely been a key element for us, and the way the game is played and called now, special teams are a huge part of it. I think our power play's been better recently. We're proud of where it is going, but obviously, like you said, has to continue to improve, and you got to make teams pay if they're going to be in the box time and time again, because if you don't want it to work against you, just the same way where they don't feel as scared to take penalties and defend you differently, and they could play a lot more physical than not if they're not worried about being scored on. So something we need to continue to work on and improve here, but I think our young guys have bought in and we're coming together.
Moving on to Sunday night, you go down 3-0, less than 10 minutes in. That could have set the tone for the night, but you respond with 2 goals late in the period to pull within 1. Now, ultimately, it didn't quite work out, but something we've talked about before and seen throughout the entire season. It doesn't matter what the score is. There is always fight in Titans hockey.
Yeah. I don't think even at that point anyone on the bench was upset with how our game was going. We thought our game overall was pretty good, and we were leaning on them. Their goaltender had made a few big saves early to keep the game scoreless and then obviously keep them in the lead there. But on the bench, we felt our game wasn't terrible. We were coming. I was really proud of our pushback there. We could have tied it actually going into the first intermission, but again, their guy came up big for them with a couple big saves there. And yeah, like you said, it's good that there's not really a mail-in factor and the give up. The guys responded, they stayed positive with each other, and we're pushing one another on the bench to go get it there. But it does, you expend a lot of effort and energy, and you got to take some chances there to get back in the game that maybe you wouldn't in an even game, especially at the 5-on-5 situation. So it ends up biting us back in the butt there and obviously coming up short.
Now, another positive on the night that you outshot the Generals, peppering the cage with 36 shots. You outshot them 12-5 in the final period. Now, again, the score was a little bit, lopsided towards the end, before that third goal. But you have scouts in the house, scouts watching on hockey TV. Is that part of the message? Maybe not so during the game, but during the week, saying, listen, you have to play 60 minutes because those guys up in the NCAA, they're going to want you to play 60 minutes. Is that part of your message as well?
It hasn't been as much this year as maybe I've mentioned in the past. Like, it's just more about us and worrying about our game and, just concentrating on what we're presenting to each other and for our team. It hasn't been so much about that, just because when you start to veer into that lane, it gets a little bit more where it's about the individual players versus the team concept. So for us, it's been just more about who and what we are on the team and how we want to present ourselves to the public and to our opponents there, and obviously to each other in the mirror. So that, to be honest with you, it's not something that's been spoken about very much, if at all. Just trying to make sure we put our best foot forward and improve every day.
And that in itself will certainly lead to NCAA coaches taking a look, and I'll look at that great team concept. I want those guys to be part of my program. Now, we've mentioned in the past about the short history of the Eastern Division of the NAHL, but the Titans have kind of stepped to the forefront along with the Middletown Sports Complex. Pretty important hub for the league, hosting some off-season events. And once again, the league has just announced that the complex will be hosting an NAHL Combine coming up in April. Got to be a pretty big honor for the Titans and for the arena.
Oh, absolutely. It creates especially in this year, right? It's going to be just such a positive event for people to get back after it and play the sport they love and they've missed for a long time. And obviously we'll surround it here with a North American Hockey League weekend and have an opportunity for people to see our brand and who and what we are in terms of our organization, our league, our division, like you mentioned. And anytime you get to bring that many talented young men into the building and get to watch them, evaluate them, interact with them, it's a great opportunity for our staff, and we want to be smart about that. So, credit to the building, credit to our area that we're able to offer those amenities to warrant the attention of the league to bring an event here, and really looking forward to it. We've had a few of them in the past, and they've always worked out really well. And I think to bring in some of the outsiders to get them to see what our building offers them and what the advantage are to being a Titan, I think works out well for all of us.
Now, by the way, if you want to check out the details on that combine, go to nahl.com/combine and you'll get all the information. Now, focusing on this upcoming weekend, a 2-game set against the first place Maine Nordiques. This is my first time seeing them, so I'll give you a chance to kind of educate me. And you haven't seen them since October, so maybe you don't know, but what in general can you tell me about their game?
No, it's a quick, very fast offensive team. They do a good job of pressuring pucks and taking away time and space. They're a deep team. They're sound from the net out. It's a good hockey team, make no mistake about it. They took it to us pretty hard early in the season, and it was something for us barometer-wise where we knew we had to get to. And I think we've done a good job of making some improvements to make sure that we could get there. And, again, another opportunity for us here to continue to climb and play a team that's above us in the standings. They're big points, obviously, and now they're in Albarn. So got to make sure we value that opportunity, and we got to make sure we're ready to compete from the drop of the puck, because it's a good veteran hockey team over there, and we know they'll be ready to go.
Now, as mentioned, it's been a long time since you've seen them. Now, how do you, and your staff, go about scouting them with no recent history? Is it a lot of video watching, or is it just worry about yourself, or the combination of the two?
No, definitely a combination of the two. We've been at the forefront in terms of where we have to improve week to week, day to day, in order to prepare us for the weekends. But like we do to any other opponent, a lot of pre-scout in terms of the video and the preparation put in. Bobby and Kyle have chopped up enough film. They know the team pretty well, and we've done our job to employ that knowledge to our players. And it's their responsibility and professional duty now to make sure they could take the information in and make sure that they're able to use that information to help us during the weekend, and obviously to help us execute what we want to do tactically. So No, I think we're ready to go. I think we've had a good week of preparation in terms of that. Now it's a matter of when the chips are laid out, how do we respond and what do we do from there? And for us, it starts with one game, and obviously we'll worry about the next when we get there.
Well, that's coming up Friday at 7:30, Saturday at 7 o'clock, both at the Middletown Sports Complex and both live and on demand on Hockey TV. And make sure to tune in a little bit early because we always have a little bit of a pregame show starting about 10 minutes before the drop of the puck. Craig, thanks so much for joining me. Best of luck this weekend. Thanks for taking the time.
I appreciate it, Tommy. See you Friday.
Well, thanks for joining me for another edition of the New Jersey Titans Coach's Corner. My name is Tom Willms, and we'll see you real soon.